Welcome to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, for you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? How is your week going? I hope that you had an amazing one. I just got back from a 4 or 5 day trip with my friends in the Bahamas. We were celebrating a girlfriend's 40th birthday party. And although I am much older than 40, almost ready to celebrate, we were actually planning and celebrating my 50th, which will be next year. So we had a great time. It's nice to kind of unplug and to unwind and to reset. But then, of course, you come back and you're in the thrill and fullness of it all. And so I want to welcome you to a new month, which is always fun and exciting. And you know that I always geek out about it. And I want to spend the majority of this conversation talking about a question that a friend of mine offered up to me just recently. And it was a question about, what is the point? What is the point? Leah, I don't see the point. Can't I just be fine with being fine? Why is more better? Why is more growth, more self-discovery, more learning, and more exploring about myself necessary? When is it enough? When can I be done? Will I ever be done? What does it matter? Now, as you know, I'm not normally at a loss for words. I usually have discovery questions to unearth most inquiries, most struggles. But my discovery questions fall flat when the interest in the answers are no longer present. When the motivation of the journey is lost to the discouragement of the soul. When we find ourselves in the pit, I'll call it, of hopelessness and despair. So after having had time to kind of sit on it and think about it and sort through my thoughts around it, I wanted to walk through these questions for you because she's not unlike anybody else. We've all had these, or at least I have had these questions on big things, on little things, on everything in the middle. So let's walk through them. Can't I just be fine with fine? She asked. And of course, you can do whatever you want forever and forever. I'm not a police nor a judge. I will love you regardless. I just want you to. And when we think, and when you think about fine, does that inspire you or does that defeat you? I mean, I know for me, fine was never really fine. It was never an inspiring, fine and dandy kind of fine. A fine confined in the walls of my mind, questioning in deep concern about how my life should have been different somehow, how people should be different somehow, how I should be different. And the more I tried to fix myself fine, the more exhausted and defeated I got. Her response to that was, I think so. I think I'm just fine being just fine. And so why is more better? She continued. And I asked it back to her. Why is more better? She didn't know. So I asked it a different way. How is less better for you right now? And this was all in context to her life. her personal development journey. But you can apply it to anything that you are thinking about with thoughts like, why should I bother? What's the point? That might be your goals you set at the beginning of the year and not have created much momentum in, whether that be saving more, spending less, eating less, moving more, meditating more, doing less, whatever. But how is less better for you right now? She replied, it keeps me from struggling for a false sense of wanting more in my life. And she continued to share that it is just easier, more comfortable to just not care, to just not put myself out there for others to judge. And I inserted myself in that answer, or in that question with this answer, like, I could care less about what other people think of you and you're wanting more or less. But I do want you to care. And sometimes less is more. Again, I just want you to like your reasons. And for so many of us, less is more. And yet, for so many of us, we settle for less because there is this constant tug of war between the part of our humanness that wants pleasure, that wants to avoid pain, that seeks comfort, and the part of our humanness that is wired for growth and expansion and evolution. And I want you to choose from abundance. I want you to choose it from, this is my life, and I get to live it to the fullest. And from that place, choose. And she continued with questioning. Why is more growth, more self-discovery, more learning and exploring about myself necessary? And I said, it's not. It's not necessary. It doesn't make you any more amazing or any less amazing. It will not make you any more happy or less happy. It doesn't make you any more great or less great, not any more worthy or less worthy. It only changes the way you experience your life, the way you experience yourself in the world. When is it enough? When you decide. When you decide. When you decide that the you, the autobiography about yourself is written. When there isn't another page or chapter or sequel that needs to be told, to be shared, to be documented. Why does it matter? It only matters if you do. And herein lies the problem. We all want to matter. We all want to be seen and heard and validated, but we have to start with ourselves. I can tell you firsthand, I was rarely alone in my life, but I was lonely. I never allowed myself to matter. And what I know for sure about our humanness is that we struggle to take care of the things we do care about, let alone take care of the things that don't, including ourselves. And I think these types of questions come up when we forget that we matter, when we look for permission that we matter, when we look for external validation that we matter, that we choose to matter. Motivation is lost when we no longer matter to ourselves. Our dreams are lost, our goals are lost, our life is lost. And so the answers to these questions can only be found when we choose to matter. So how do we begin to matter? How do we climb out of that pit of despair and hopelessness, questioning what the point is, and invite ourselves back to our life? How do we give ourselves a chance to matter and to care? I want to share with you 4 ideas as I was thinking about this for this friend of mine. And I hope that it shines some light on your being in the pits about what's it all for? So 4 ideas. The first one, self-love. Not a shocker, right? When you tap into love for yourself, you will no longer need anyone else to validate your mattering. You will no longer need anyone else's permission. You will no longer need the approval of others. You will be free to be spontaneous, to try new things, to put yourself out there in ways that you didn't think were possible, all because you just decide that you are done caring about what everyone else thinks, that you are going to stop ignoring you, that you're going to be more spontaneous, that you are officially done with making decisions based on past hurts, not wanting to be embarrassed, let down, or disappointed. You're done staying small as to not be judged, rejected, or bullied. I think sometimes we use this as an excuse because what might be available on the other side of our past, which would be our future, my friends. One of our greatest human desires is that of personal freedom. And I think self-love affords us that freedom, the freedom to be who we are without holding ourselves back from what matters, without holding ourselves back because we matter. Self-love is the invitation to matter. Loving ourselves, all of ourselves, the good and the messy, giving other people permission to be wrong about us, inviting us to explore these questions again from a place of wanting the best for our soul, the best for our being, the best for our potential. So start with self-love. The next thing in order to get out of that pit is fulfillment. When you don't feel a sense of fulfillment, it's easy to feel hopeless. What I find most often is that people that don't feel fulfilled are either doing work that they feel obligated to do in the absence of gratitude. They are busy doing that they forget the being part. They have hustled hard for so long without celebrating the journey, thinking that they would feel better once they achieved this, accomplished that, checked the boxes, only to continue to add to a never-ending to-do list, never filling or never feeling better, fulfilled, just bitter and fatigued. The sense of fulfillment is hard to access when we are exhausted. So can we get excited? Can we care for our soul? Do things that excite us? I mean, when was the last time that you checked in on what makes you happy? When was the last time you checked in and be like, hey, what brings me joy? What do you love to do? And who do you love to do it with? And can we incorporate more of those little joys into our days, our weeks, and our months? We don't have to necessarily go to the Bahamas to get our sense of fill in. Because those times for most of us are fleeting. But can we find fulfillment in the minutes, in the hours, in the days, in the weeks, and the months of our life? That's how we slowly climb out of that pit. Identity is the third idea that I want you to consider on how to get out of hopelessness, how to be in alignment with answering those questions. What's the point? When you know who you are, having clarity around your identity is the foundation of the work, this work. The work of personal development, the work of self-mastery, the work of purpose. Knowing who you are becomes a litmus test for knowing what to do. Because when you know who you are, and more importantly, who you choose to be, the answer to the question, what's the point, is obvious. You are the point. You are the only you. And amongst everyone, your gifts are unique to you and only you. The point becomes clear as you sift through all the reasons as to why you matter. All the people that benefit from you doing this work, exploring the truest version of yourself so that you can put yourself out into the world to serve and to contribute. I think sometimes when we are confused about what the point is, why bother? We forget that it has nothing to do with us and yet everything to do with us. When we are confused by our own mattering, we forget that there are people that depend on us to make our difference in whatever way that looks like, to be the role model to ourselves, to our families, and to the people that we want to do this life with. We are more than just a body going through the motions of this life. We are all connected, and every action has an effect. And when you realize that, you can better understand that this life is bigger than us, but we are the heartbeat. Maybe that is why I have such love and appreciation for people that do this work, because I know the ripple effect it has on our world and on our communities and at the kitchen tables of our homes. So self-love, fulfillment, identity, and a plan. Sometimes we forget our own mattering. We question the point of our work, of our goal, of our attitude, because we have become indifferent, because we have lost sight of that plan, because we have lost our motivation to care, to try, and to bother. We think that motivation is just going to show up, and then we can recommit, re-engage, and re-emerge in our life, and we wait. And if we wait, as if motivation was something that just happened outside of us, if you have lost your motivation, let me tell you some great news. It's not for purchase, nor is it for hire. It is something that you summon through choice. It is something that you choose to commit to. And people will challenge me on this, but Leah, you don't understand. It's exhausting. It's too hard. It's too hard to show up every Monday thinking that everything is on my shoulders, that I'm not supported, that I've tried and failed too many times, that I could put in the work. I could, but I'll just end up failing anyway, confirming the story and wondering, why did I bother in the first place? Leah, they say, it's all just too hard. And to that answer, I answer with immense empathy and love. I've been there. And this is what I know. Both are hard. You just get to choose your hard. And when you shift focus from obligation to gratitude, from self-mattering to service-minded, we become reminded that there is a point. We might not understand it. We might not agree with it. We might not even love it at times, but there is a point. And I am a person of faith, and I believe in God, and I believe there is a point to my existence, whether or not I get it or not. But regardless of whether or not you believe or not, regardless if you believe in a God or a universe or a higher power, I just have a really hard time believing that we are just here random, just to take up space and breathe oxygen for the sake of not mattering, for not serving, for not loving, for not caring. And when we can shift perspective to being grateful for this breath, this life, our families, our homes, our work, our presence, and if we listen to the answer with our heart and not our head, the answer to the question, what the point, is you. And from that place, we are invited to plan. We are invited to plan our days and our rituals and our routines, plan our connections and our acts of service and our contribution, plan our memories and our experiences and our future. And when we plan, it just so happens we create some momentum in our day. And what I have found to be true about momentum is that motivation is coming right behind it. It's along for the ride. It might not be there to start, but with a little plan and a little momentum and a little less thinking outside of yourself, you begin to realize that the mattering is in yourself. It's an inside job. And when we look to anything outside of us for the point, we will continue to be disappointed, dissatisfied, and unfulfilled. The plan is an invitation to invite you back into your life, to invite you to a practice of self-love, to your day, to plan little joys into your minutes, to date yourself again, to get to know who you are and who you want to be, and to plan the curriculum of discovering the study of yourself, to bring back that fulfillment, to re-identify as that who that cares, that who that understands that the point of your existence is more than just random. What the point? What's the point? You are. And again, it doesn't matter whether or not I think you matter if you don't. It doesn't matter whether I offer you these ideas on how to get out of the pit if you don't believe it. All I can offer is my belief. So please borrow it just to get you taking that next step, climbing out of The pit requires a step and then another. It starts and ends with self. It's the most important work that you will do. And I'll always, in this podcast and on everything that I create, invite you to be part of this becoming journey. We have another cohort coming up, and I want to invite you to apply. This journey single-handedly saved my life and answered these questions for me. What the point is. Can't I just be fine with being fine? Why is more better? Why is more growth, more discovery, more learning, more exploring? Why is any of that necessary? When is it enough? When can I be done? When will I ever be done? What does it matter? All of these questions were answered for me by this journey because I found myself in this journey. And you are worth the investment to discover these answers for yourself. If you find yourself too many days asking yourself what the point is, why does it matter? What's it all worth? I want you to invite yourself. I invite you. I want you to give yourself permission to invite yourself into one of our becoming journeys. I hope I will see you there. And if not there yet, I will see you next week. Have an amazing one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Roling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahroling.com.